Hello, 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 and welcome to a Teen Talks Game podcast. My name is Van Gogh, and I hope you guys are doing very, very well. It is a bit of a weird episode today, not for you guys, but for me, because I'm recording this much earlier on a Friday than I normally would. I usually record late, late, late in the evening, but today I'm recording a little bit earlier in the afternoon because US Nationals is happening later tonight, and so I would like to watch that and go to sleep right afterwards. So I'm doing this episode right now. I again apologize for the issues with last episode because for some reason, again, the intro is like corrupted or something, and the program of the week segments are definitely like not there. And they are there, but the files themselves are not working. They're like corrupted or something. And so I don't know how to fix it. And I definitely will make a new intro soon. I probably will make a new intro next week and get on GarageBand and figure out the instrumentation. It'll probably be a new like theme, not the same one as last time. The last one was really poor quality. But anyway, very big apologies for the issues on the last two episodes and this episode as well, probably with having no intro and program of the week stuff. But anyway, my prayers are doing very, very well. Make sure you follow, share, and like a Teen Talk Skating podcast. I know I sound so cringe, but Spotify told me to say that. And so you must do as they say and follow, share, and like. Lots of love recently on the podcast, lots of views. And so I'm so happy to share my passion for this sport with everyone and get to talk about figure skating, which is like my favorite thing, one of my favorite things in the whole wide world. Maybe not, maybe it is my favorite. I love just binge watching programs. But let's head over to our program of the week, which is kind of an emotional program for me. And yeah, you'll see why. Okay, so the program of the week this week is from a skater who just announced her retirement, that she's stepping away from competitive figure skating yesterday, and that is Ava Marie Ziegler of the United States. And I loved Ava Marie Ziegler when she competed, and I love her skating so much, and I was genuinely so devastated to hear that. But she says that the injury complications have been really hard to recover from, and it's totally understandable. And we wish her all the best success with her future life and career, and hopefully maybe she'll stay connected to skating, whether it be through coaching, choreography, or anything like that. But the program I have here today is her 2023 NHK Trophy Free Skate, to Liberation and Bound to You from Burlesque, performed by Christina Aguilera. This was the free skate that really, I think, put her even more on the map as one of the top US skaters. She won the 2023 NHK Trophy with such a amazing performance here. Her skating is so fast. That is the first thing I feel like you notice, is that she goes into her crossovers like they're nothing. I feel like she barely does crossovers in this program, really. She goes into them, she gets so much speed, and her first jumping combo, the flip axle axle, is so well done. There's such a nice float up into each of those jumps. The gaps between the jumps, the three jump sequences, it's like just a little bit of a pause and then boom, up again, boom, up again. It's beautiful. I really enjoy her next two jumping passes as well. The triple lutz into the double toe. Her double toe is almost an afterthought with like little effort in it, if that makes sense. It looks so easy to do. She just reaches back, gets this very, very nice lift into the air, one arm kind of up, and then flourishes down like it's nothing. She does the same thing with the triple loop and the toe. The jumps in the rest of the program are, you know, also beautiful. Just a lot of different arm movements throughout the choreography of this program. I really enjoy her looking up, looking into herself, if that makes sense. This feels like a performance for herself. This feels like a performance that she is just doing in an empty, in a quiet room, maybe, and she's just skating for herself. And that's the main thing for me here, that it feels like a personal program, if that makes sense. Um, yeah, second half of the program, the steps are beautiful as well. There's this moment in the steps where she is on one foot and then kind of tosses herself, kind of turns into the other foot and then does that again, almost throwing herself in a lower position, I guess. It's very intricate, it's beautiful. It's something that maybe is kind of unexpected, but I don't know, it just feels like she took a lot of parts of very, very big famous step sequences and put all those best parts together into her own unique style. Again, very personal and very beautiful. Lastly, I would love to talk about that second to last spin, she goes into like a sit spin position and then she catches her foot so fast up into the Y spin upright position and she spins so fast in that position. So it's just really fascinating to see how well she catches that foot. It was genuinely so good. So, yeah, we wish her all the best with her retirement and everything in the future. Go check it out if you haven't. Ava Marie Ziegler, her 2023 NHK Trophy Free Skate to Liberation and Bounty from Burlesque performed by Christina Aguilera. I don't know if I've discussed this program before. Honestly, if I have discussed this program before, I'm sorry. I don't keep track of what programs I've done and I haven't. I probably should. But yeah, I know I've done her Adele Free Skate, her Love in the Dark Free Skate. Go check that one out as well. Ava Marie Ziegler just had such good free skates, and I'm gonna miss her skating. And yeah, best of luck with her future endeavors. So yeah, now to our main episode. Okay, so I know last week I talked about US nationals, and we just even did an American skater for Program of the Week. But this week's episode is not about America at all. It does not have any American skaters in it at all. This episode is actually a preview of the European Figure Skating Championships, which will be happening the week after I upload this episode. And so if you're looking for a review of nationals, which at this moment right now I'm recording this, that hasn't finished up yet. I will be reviewing nationals, US nationals next week. And so stay tuned for that. It's a bit of a flip flop. We're going US nationals last week, Europeans this week, US nationals next week, and then Europeans the week after. But let's talk about the European Figure Skating Championships. These ones are being held in Sheffield in England. So I believe the last time the Europeans was in England, it was back in 2012 or 2013, also in Sheffield. So very nice to have it back in the UK. No skaters, obviously, outside of Europe are competing here. But I would like to note that that does not mean this is still not an accurate, I guess, international competition. This is still a very really good chance and a very big opportunity to for a skater to show what they can do before the Olympics. The Olympics will be happening, I believe, 3 weeks after Europeans in Italy, and so this is really the final showdown. This is the warm up event really before the Olympics really happen. And a lot of these skaters that I'm discussing here are Europeans, are going to be medal contenders, podium contenders at the Olympics. And so we might get a bit of a feel, and I mean we might get a feel for what Olympic results might be like. And so let's get started. So today I'm gonna overview a preview of the top 12 men and the top 12 women and 6 pairs and 8 ice teams. Honestly, do I really pay attention to pairs and ice in Europe? I mean, I guess more ice but honestly, do I pay attention to pairs? Not really. And so I'm really going off of scores on that one. But anyway, the rest of these predictions are kind of more well research, if that makes sense. And so I've been considering, the whole season. How well have they been doing the whole season? How well do they usually do at Europeans? Maybe they're a second half season kind of peaker who does really well at the championship events, things like that. That's what I've been kind of considering. And have I thrown in a little bit of my own personal bias? Yes. So yeah, let's start off with the men's event. This is tricky because it is the men's event and men are super chaotic usually in the scores. Short programs, free skates, you really don't know where it's gonna go. And a lot of these men are really going for a lot of quads, and they have a lot of similar scoring potentials. The highest score from a European man this season has been a 288.72 from Daniel Grassl. But otherwise, there's been men who have been in the 260s, there's men who've been in the 240s, and lower than that and higher than that. But a lot of those men, their season's best score is not usually, that tends to happen if you're seeing where your season's best score tends to be a really good competition, and the rest of your competitions don't tend to have that very much similar score. And so I'm just saying that there's a lot of chaos and a lot of wavering scores here. We did have a withdrawal from Adam Schauhemfa of France, who would definitely have been a huge medal contender here. I believe he took a withdrawal he withdrew because he wanted to prepare more for the Olympics. And so, yeah, he won't be at this competition, but he will be at the Olympics. And so we'll be seeing how he'll do there, but he will not be attending this European Figure Skating Championships. So let's start with 12th place, and I'm putting him in 12th place because honestly, I think most people would honestly put him lower than 12th place, but I just had to mention him because he's my favorite, and that is from Latvia, Denis Vasievs, who this season has had a lot of difficulties. There has been some coaching drama between him and the Latvian Federation. His scores have gone up this season, just not as high as he definitely would have liked. He's gone from a 204 to a 210 to a 219. Um, definitely has not had clean programs with, the quad style, which he would like, with no falls, which he would like. But definitely a great skater, definitely someone who shows up. I would not be surprised if he did better in the second half of the season because I do feel like he is that kind of skater who tends to peak more at Europeans and Worlds rather than the first few Grand Prix events. Back in 2022, he was the bronze medalist here at the Olympic season Europeans. I'm not ruling that at all. I'm putting him in 12th here because his scores have been much lower than the rest of the field, but I absolutely enjoy his skating. He's so artistic. He is so fun. Um, so mature, I feel like, and so formal in his way of skating as well. That I think they'll give him the component score. The technical side might be difficult, but we'll see how he does. I would not be surprised if he somehow magically ended up on the podium. I don't think I would be surprised at that. In 11th place, I'm picking Adam Hagara from Slovakia, who is a very talented youngster in the field, um, who impressed me a lot back at the NHK Trophy, I believe it was. Yes, he was sixth place at the NHK Trophy, and it really was a good result for him. This season, he's had pretty decent scores. One score in the 192, but that was kind of a fluke score. In general, he does score around that 210, 220, maybe 230 ish range in the early 230s. He doesn't have, maybe the high technical prowess as some of the other men do, but a good clean free skate, a good clean strip program will get him quite far. Again, maybe not the highest components compared to the rest of the field. And so he's one of those skaters who cleanliness really does matter. And I really do enjoy his skating. I think he's a very big star that's kind of rising up. And he will be attending the Olympics as well. So I'm very glad to see him here at the Europeans and see how well he can do and make an impact on the rest of the field. In 10th place, I am picking Vladimir Litvintsev from Azerbaijan. Let me see, where is his thingy? He is right here, and he's not right here, but he's been fun this season. A lot of people were very amused by his Joker free skate at Ski America, and I was too. He was sixth place at Ski America. That was the best score with a 231 that he received all season long. But he has had higher scores in the past. His personal best is a 251, and so some a skater who the scoring has been here and there. The scoring does vary a lot. This season he's been more in the 220 range. But I think again a skater who are really clean two skates would very much carry him far in the rankings in the field. Okay. In ninth place, I'm picking Mikhail Selevko, the younger of the Selevko brothers from Estonia. And I'm putting him here because I think he's a skater as well, like Vladimir Litvintsev, where the scoring can vary quite a lot. This season, he's been a 229, a 232, a 218, and a 199. So, you know, someone where the scores do vary a lot based on consistency, but he had a really good performance at the Grand Prix de France where he was eighth with a 232. A performance like that, again, really could get him very high in the rankings. He'll be looking for landing both of his quad toes cleanly, which I believe has been okay for him. Not the best attempt. He is also attempting a quad flip. If he's able to land that quad flip with positive GOE, again, a very big element, very high scoring element, and that would earn him quite a lot of points and earn him a lot of success. And so we'll see how he does here at the Europeans. He was seventh here last year, and so definitely could move up, and we'll see. Okay. In seventh place, and this is a very important result, so I don't want to skip over this too fast. But in seventh place, I'm predicting Matteo Rizzo of Italy, and this does break my heart. But The Italian Olympic spots are kind of at play here between him and Nikolai Momola, who we will discuss later. Matteo Rizzo has had a lot of experience. He's been to 2 Olympics now. This season he has had, kind of wild scoring, a 213, then a 249, and then a 215, and then a 229, and another 229 up to 231. And so it's going to depend. It's going to depend quite a lot on if he can get clean skates going. The quad toe, I think, has been his main jump that has had a couple issues with under rotations and step outs. But if he's able to get a really clean free skate, I think he would. And, it depends on the other skaters as well. I think he could really make his way up there. He's been a European medalist 3 times now, including 2 years ago. Last year, he was in 5th place, which is a really promising result. He is a skater who honestly kind of shows up at Europeans. He does tend to, really, really show up at Europeans and really impress at Europeans. And so I really do think he could move up in the rankings. Very important result, obviously, to decide the Italian Olympic team spots for the Olympics in Italy. And so that will be a very major result there. Okay, in 6th place, I'm predicting Alexander Selevko of Estonia, who had a very, very impressive Skate Canada, where he scored a new personal best of 257. The other, scores this season have been a 235, a 208, then that 257, and then that 237. At the talent trophy. And so, a couple scores in there, but if he is able to put out a score like he did at Skate Canada this season with that 257, he was even he scored a 256 2 seasons ago at Europeans to take the silver. Last year he was a 9th place here with a 230, but if he's able to get a very clean 2 skates in there, and he is a skater who very much can get that done. He has the quad lutz in his Arsenal, for example. If he's able to get those clean jumps in and get those quads in, I really do think he could find his way back to the podium again, based on his scores this season. In 5th place, and this might be, a little bit shocking, maybe a little surprising, I'm putting last year's European champion, Lucas Britsky of Switzerland, who was so, so impressive last year. And it was a really amazing result last year from Lucas Britsky, from the 8th in the short to the 1st in the free for the first overall. This season, he has been in the 230 and 240 range, which is really, really good. And that's where he was about last year around this time as well. And so maybe he really does have the performance that really boosts him up and really does have the time of his life here at the Europeans. Someone who does very, very well at Europeans. First here last year, 5th the year before, and 3rd the year before that. Someone who is very, very talented, someone who can have that technical ability. He doesn't have maybe the number of quads, the number of high technical jumps as compared to the other skiers, but he is someone who performs as well. And so if he's able to get a clean skate in, a clean free like he did last year at Europeans and really impress the judges, I really do think he could again find his way back on the European podium, maybe even that 1st place. We'll have to see. Another important result I want to talk about is the 4th place I'm predicting for Nikolai Momola of Italy. Again, he is in a competition with Matteo Rizzo for that Olympic spot. This season has been a bit wild for Nikolai Momola. He was a 265, a 220, a 245, a 238, and a 231. And so that one score of 265 was really the big standout score. That was in Italy at a Challenger Series Lombardia Trophy. That was the first competition this season. Both of his Grand Prix, maybe didn't go the way he wanted, but they were still higher scores than Matteo Rizzo, who he is competing with. They are still higher scores, a little, and I mean like a little bit higher scores, not by a ton. Last year here at Europeans, he was 2nd, and I don't know if that maybe will influence the uprise, I guess, here. But he's a really really talented skater. He has more quads than a lot of the rest of the field, but it does really depend on how he lands those quads. Going for the quad flip and 2 quad lutzes in his free skate is very, 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 very impressive. And yeah, if the judges don't call him on the under rotations, if he's able to get his feet steady on those jumps, I really do think he will be the one to go to the Olympic team. At least he's, I feel like, on based on the scoring trajectory, maybe a little bit more likely than Nikolai, or not Nikolai Momola, than his compatriot Mateo Rizzo. Okay, let's talk about our top three here. This top three was a little random, honestly, and I don't really know if this will be the top three. In third place, and this definitely for sure, I think a lot of people will be like, oh, okay, is Kevin Aymoz. I'm predicting Kevin Aymoz for third place. Kevin Aymoz has won every competition he's been in this season except one that he was 10th place at Skate Canada. But otherwise, he was a 261 and then a 230, a 253, a 237. And those are his international competitions. Yeah, a skater who is a little bit unfortunately known by the judges for inconsistencies. Last year, he was 22nd at Europeans when I think a lot of people thought that, he was had a lot of hope going in. He had been to the Grand Prix final, things like that. This season, he won one of his Grand Prix. He won his first Grand Prix actually at Skate America, which was a huge result for him. He just won French Nationals as well. So I do feel like he is coming in off of a lot of success, off of a lot of motivation. And I really do think that this might be the year that, he can medal at Europeans. He has not medaled at Europeans before. He's been fourth place before. I believe that's the highest. Yeah, that is the highest he's been at Europeans. Yeah, he was 22nd here last year, 31st the year before. He didn't qualify to the free, but he was fourth the year before that, seventh the year before that. I really do think if there is a season where he is going to medal at Europeans, it feels like this season because he has had a really good, relatively good season. That 10th at Skate Canada was unfortunate, but otherwise still a really good season for Kevin Aymoz. In second place, again, maybe a bit more again of an unexpected result, but in second place, I'm going to predict Nika Igadze of Georgia, who is a jumping prodigy. Let's say that his programs are chock full of jumps. The two quad styles, the one quad toe. He usually does them honestly pretty well. He usually does them pretty well. Might have a couple mistakes of fall or under rotation there. But a really, really good skater who really has that technical ability. I'm really putting here based on his technical ability. He has had two personal bests this season, one in the short in France and then one in the free at the Dennis 10 Memorial. So really kind of an upward trajectory in terms of those this season. His scores have gone slightly down, or honestly about 20 points down over this season, which, is not very, something we don't really want to see. But I still do think that technically he is one of the best men in this field. Artistically on the component score, not going to be as high maybe as the rest of the field, but if clean skating will get very, very, very far for Nika Igadze. Okay, and then in first place here, I'm predicting Daniel Grassl of Italy, who has already confirmed his spot for the Italian Olympic team. Out of all the men here, he has had the best season in terms of scoring, in terms of scoring, in terms of just overall. Not to say that his scores haven't been a little all over, but he has gotten better kind of as the season has gone on. He started off at a 241. He went to a 269, a 236 at Skate. America was a bit unfortunate, but then he miraculously qualified for the Grand Prix final, and he did amazing at the Grand Prix final with a fourth place finish there. And it was very interesting to see how, I don't know, how powerful this skating was, and it was a really good skate for him. Absolutely clean. He is a skater that, could fall prey to the under rotation calls. That will be his main worry here, but I truly think Daniel Grassl, based on that Grand Prix final performance and his recent win at Italian Nationals, which was really decent as well. I think, I think he's gonna be there. Again, it will depend on those quads and if they call under rotations on them, but just my thoughts. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so the men I'm predicting third, Kevin Aymoz, second, Nika Igatze, first, Diana Grassl. Let's move on to the women. I genuinely struggled so much with this because again, like the men, a lot of these women score very similar. It could very much depend on the day, depend on the skate. Maybe not going to be based on overall consistency or anything. For my wild card, because I really truly did not know where to put her, I am putting Kimmy Rippon of Switzerland, who has not competed at all this season. She has been off due to injury, but she is currently on the list to compete here at Europeans. Um, she was fourth here last year, seventh year before. She's been third here before. I'm really putting it off based on the fact that it seems like Europeans is a very, very good competition for her. And we'll have to see where Kimmy Rippon really lies. I don't really know where to put her. And so she's my wild card. She could be in the 190s and the 200s, maybe. We have to see. Coming back from injury is very, very difficult, but maybe she's really recovered really well, trained those jumps really well. We'll have to see for Kimmy Rippon. In 12th, I'm predicting Olga Mikutina of Austria, who is a really, really lovely skater, and I really do love her skating. This season, she's competed at a lot of international competitions, actually. She's been to a few competitions. She went from a 151 all the way up to a 181, and so quite, big scores that we see here big gap between the results that we see here, but it's not all about that. I feel like I love her skating. I love her style. I love how she's just different on the ice. Under rotations these days seem to be the thing that judges are always picking up on her skating, especially on her triple lutz, triple toe combination. And so we'll have to see where those things go. Have to see where, if they see those under rotations, if they'll mark them, things like that for Olga Mikisina. But again, someone who has been, she's been in the top 10 here before. She was in the top 10 2 seasons ago, and we'll have to see where she places. Okay. In 11th place, I'm putting Leah Serna of France, who I think this is a bit maybe of a, interesting skater here. I enjoyed her skating so much at Ski America, and maybe I'm just biased towards her because I loved her free skate at Ski America. I thought it was lovely. She is a skater who, the jumps maybe are not the most technically difficult, but she does do them well. And when she's able to get her jumps, the triple lutz and the triple flip done in the free skate, that is really when she gets a lot of good scores, and that's where she picks up a lot of her points. And again, someone will have to see where the judges call the under rotations. Hopefully, she doesn't pop any jumps, and we'll have to see here. But she's been in the 170s about this whole season, so I think a placement, maybe top 10 even, would be really good for Leah Senna. In 10th place here is a skater with a similar situation to Kimmy Rippon, who has been off for injury, but she did return recently, and that is Nina Pinzarone of Belgium. She was gone most of the early season, and then she came back to win her nationals, and she was 7th with a 167 at Golden Spin of Zagreb. That was her only international result. There, she had a really good short program where she was second, and then a 9th place street skate did knock her down quite a bit, unfortunately. It does seem like she's gotten triple triples back, a triple loop, triple toe, a very interesting combination there. Quarter calls, it's always very difficult going back from injury, like I said earlier. And Nina Pinzarone is a bit of a wild card to me. She was third here at Europeans last year and third the year before, so I would not be surprised if, Europeans is again her fighting ground, and definitely excited to see her back. Hopefully, her injury is all recovered, and we'll have to see where she places. In 9th place, and what might be, I believe, her last season, I believe people have said, is from Poland, Ekaterina Kurakova, a bundle of joy. 4 years ago at European, she placed fourth with just an amazing skate, some amazing skates there. This season has been a bit of a struggle. She was 10th at Ski America, which was her Grand Prix event, her solo Grand Prix event. She was 10th with a 163 there. This season, she's been mostly in the 160s range. And so, maybe lower than some of the other skaters in the field. But I truly think Europeans is kind of where she likes to show up, where she really likes to put some good skates down. And I'm kind of basing it off of that. Under rotations have been, again, her main issue, unfortunately, especially on her most valuable jump, the triple Lutz. And so I'm hoping the judges don't see them, or she skates like all out for what might be her last Europeans, which I think I would feel terrible about. But oh well. A bit of a more unknown name to the field, I feel like, but I think in eighth place, I'm predicting Serena Jews of Italy, who is not, she was skating on the junior level last season, and I believe this season is her full senior season. Yeah, she aged out of juniors last season, so this season is her full senior season. She has been really, really good this season in the 180 range. Internationally, she did have one score of 159, but then the rest of the scores have all been in that 180 range. So that's where, I really do think the top 10 is going to be here. And I think she might pull a surprise. She's had some, decent skates this season. If she's able to get everything clean done, I think her jumps are all there. And I'm excited to see more of her on the international circuit, because I am sure she'll be a very bright future for Italian women's skating. Another Italian woman I'm predicting in seventh place, and that is Anna Pezzetta of Italy. She was eighth at both of her Grand Prix this season. Uh, More in that 170 range most of this season. She did have 192 and then 155, 165 at nationals last month. Um, her jumps are big. Her jumps are big, and that is both a blessing and a curse, because when she can land them, very, very big, and I mean very big Jewy. If she can't land them, get a few under rotations on them, that's where I think the scores, the points will really be taken away in the Jewy. But she's a skater where the jumps are so big, and the judges love to award big jumps, just like her. She's just a big jumper, especially on her flip. I think that's her best jump. And she's able to, again, if she's able to land those big jumps, if she's able to get everything together, I truly think she'll be very, very close, or even on maybe the European podium. Okay, let's talk about the top six here. In sixth place, a skater who, I don't know, this was a bit of a for me. I don't know. This is a skater who I don't exactly know where to place, and she did have injury kind of in the middle of the season, but she came back recently, so we'll have to see. And that is Nina Petroikina from Estonia. Here, she was let me think. She's been a 162 and then a 178 internationally this season, and that was 2 months apart. She did recently win Estonia Nationals. I don't know how inflated the scores are at Estonia Nationals, but the skate itself was relatively clean, besides a pop of a jump. Yeah, so slowly again, kind of recovering from injury. She was first here last year. That's kind of why I'm putting her up here. She was first here last year with absolutely the skate of her life back home in Tallinn, Estonia. So I'm very excited to see if she can replicate the same performance at Sheffield this year. But she was the champion last year in Estonia. She was so impressive in those two skates. And I'm hoping to see some of that magic here at um the Europeans as well. So we'll see if she's able to defend her title or win a medal here as well. In fifth place, I think this is a bit of a shocker maybe, but I think this is very, very fair given, if that makes sense. Not fair given, but I think this one might be there. And I think in fifth place here, I'm picking Aida Karhunen of Finland, who has had a couple good results this season. She's been going up recently, which is why I'm putting her here. She's been a 174, a 162, a 176, a 180 at the Finlandia Trophy, which was the biggest result. And then just last month at Golden Spin, she was a second with a really, and I mean a really good free skate there. And she's able to do the triple triple. She's able to get her triple lutzes as well. 2 triple flips and 2 triple lutzes in her skate. Positive Jewy there really helped her. So if she's able to replicate a performance like that here at Sheffield, I think she might be a shocker, might be a dark horse on the field, but I'm putting her fifth year. She just won her national title as well. So very excited to see her. In fourth place is a name who I feel like is a bit silent but deadly. I love to say that about skaters. A silent but deadly skater is someone who just kind of shows up out of nowhere sometimes and peaks at the right moment. And I think that might be the case here with Laurine Shield of France, who has had a pretty decent season. She was fifth at Grand Prix de France with a new personal best in the free and in overall score. Otherwise, her scores have mostly been in the 170s and the 180s. That 189 was her personal best, which is a really good score. Let's see. She recently won the national, no, got second at the nationals. And yeah, really, overall scores in those 180s, maybe in the 170s. Um, We'll have to see. She was 10th year last year at Europeans and fifth the year before. So I'm sure she's hoping to make it back into that top five. And honestly, think that she's a pretty decent season, and I'm happy to see her as well. Okay, let's talk about this top three. This top three, I think, very could change a lot. I'm just gonna preface that. This top three in third place, I think Luna Hendricks is my third place, and this could be, I definitely see that how this could not work out. We'll have to see. Luna Hendricks coming back from injury this season. She basically didn't compete last season. This season, she did compete. She was third at the Olympic qualifier with a 204, third at NHK Trophy with a 198, and then she did withdraw from Finlandia Trophy after a 10th place short program where I believe she was sick. I don't believe she was injured. I believe she was sick there. And so I'm hoping she's recovered from that. And I'm hoping she's not injured again, hopefully. But she's a skater who is really strong on the component side, especially that performance and presentation score. She's a really strong skater there. And what is really, really impressive to me is that she's really regained, I feel like, her jumping technique back really well. I just thought her jumps they looked really solid. Yes, she might get the occasional unclear edge on the triple lutz, but I think she's a really solid skater. We will have to see. We will have to see because I can't tell you for sure because again, injury is so devastating. Coming back is so devastating. We'll have to see with Luna Hendricks. Okay, this second place I think is such a well deserved second place, and I'm really hoping she makes the podium. And that is Lara Naki Gutmann of Italy, who is really having, and I really mean that she's really having the season of her life. She was a 195, a 202, a 192, a 204. And that was her fourth place at Skate America. A lot of people thought she should have been in third place. But she's been really hammering it down, especially with short programs. Her short programs have been really pretty decent this season, getting all the jumps done, maybe getting a quarter call. Her free skate is Jaws themed and it's just so good. The acting, the portrayal, everything in it is just so good. And if she's able to get clean jumps in, I think she truly will be on that very upward trajectory towards an Olympic, not an Olympic medal, sorry, a European medal here. Obviously, going to build that trajectory for the Olympics also in Italy. But I think she's had a really good season. I think she was let me think. She was sixth year at Europeans last year, but that was with a season that wasn't, as much trajectory as it is now. Her scores this season have been as high as they have ever been. And it's a really impressive result from Lara Nakiguman. So I think she'll be second here. The first place skater, though, I'm putting here because this skater treats Europeans like it is the biggest skate of her life, and that is Anastasiia Gubanova of Georgia. She has medaled here for the last 3 Europeans, a first in 2023, a second in 2024, and a second in 2025. I think she's the most likely to win first here as well. Her scores this season have gone from a 206 to a 203 to a 197 to a 204. So really the main skater who's been, upwards in that 200 range. And so based on the scores this season, she's been really, really, really hammering it down with the jumps. Her free skate to Ghost is very beautiful. And it's, a couple underrotation calls, but otherwise not many pops from her, not many mistakes like that from her. no major falls or anything. She's a really solid skater this season, and she is very hungry, I'm sure, for another European podium finish for the fourth year in a row. So we'll have to see from Anastasiia Gubanova. But yeah, my three placements are third Luna Hendricks, second Lara Naki Gutmann, and first Anastasiia Gubanova. Let's talk about pairs. And pairs, I like I said earlier in the beginning of the episode, I don't know things about pairs. And so, I'm kind of basing this off of vibes and scoring and how I feel. But I do think based on what I know, I could see this really going so many ways with these very big top pairs. One lift, one throw jump mistake, one side by side jump mistake will really affect the placements here and where everyone falls into place. In sixth place, I'm predicting Ghiardi Ambrosini of Italy. And I'm putting them here. They are skaters. They were third 2 seasons ago and second this season before that. Uh, excuse me. Oh my gosh, that was actually really loud. I should probably edit that out. I'm probably not going to edit that out. They've gone from a 188 to a 193 to a 186 to an unfortunately 167. But, they have had a really decent season besides those scores in that 180 range, in that 190 range. They are a team that doesn't have the highest technical side by side jump base value, unfortunately. And so that will be the main reason why their scores might be a little lower, but we'll have to see. A very clean skate from them. Their twist is really solid. Their throws are generally really solid. We will have to see where those go for Ghiardi Ambrosini. In fifth place, I'm predicting a German team, Hake and Kunkel, who have been, more in that, a little less in that 180 range, but they recently did have a second at German Nationals with a solid skate. Might have been a little inflated, but their short program at Skate America was really solid, and then their free skate wasn't so solid, unfortunately. I'm hoping that, I don't know, they are a team that has had really good performances in the past. Europeans has been an up and down competition for them too. They were third in 2023 here at the Europeans, and then seventh, and then an eighth last year. We'll have to see for them. But they are a team who has had, results kind of everywhere, results kind of here and there, and I'm sure they're looking for a really big moment to kind of boom and definitely put their name for the Olympics. I believe they are on the Olympic team already, and definitely looking for that a really great result. I think Hockey and Kunkel will be very hungry to get their European medal back, maybe. Okay. These top four teams are very much world-class teams. In fourth place, I'm predicting the team of Pavlova and Sviatchenko of Hungary. They were third in France, they were second in Japan, and they were fifth at the Grand Prix final with a new personal best. Their scores have gone up this whole season. They have had really solid, especially in the short program this season. Free skates, maybe a couple here and there mistakes on the side-by-side jumps or one thing or the other, but it's usually one minor mistake. But I think if they skate lights out, they could very much be on that European podium. They've won a lot of Grand Prix medals. They have not won a European medal yet. They were fourth here last year. They were fourth the year before. And I'm sure again another team who is so hungry to get on to that Olympic on that European podium. They've had a third in the short, they've had a third in the free, and they just haven't made it on the podium overall. And I'm sure they'd be very hungry to get there. These scores have been the highest that they've ever had. And so I'm sure if this is the year for them to be on the European podium, this is it because their scores have been really solid this season. Okay, in third place, the Georgian team of Metokina Barulava, who have the highest personal and season's best here of all the skaters. I'm putting him here at third place on the podium because although they have the highest personal best score and season's best score, their other scores overall have not been as high as that score of that 225 at the Trialetti Trophy at home. They were first with a really good Cup of China, and then they were second at Skate America after having a free skate which was just devastating to watch, honestly. That fall, I remember on the Salchow, the abandoned lift, unfortunately. Errors like that really kept them out of that first place back at Ski America. They really did regroup at the Grand Prix final, really good performances there, and placed fourth overall there. Um, they placed fourth overall there. Again, a couple of mistakes here and there, a bit shakiness on the lift, and then, really wanting to get those side by side jumps solid. But if they're able to have a monster short program and a monster free skate like they did at the Trialetti Trophy, they really, really will be the ones who very much could take that first place here. In second place, I'm putting the Italian team of Conti and Machi, who have had a really solid season. They've been a 215, a 201, 209, 208, and then at the Grand Prix final, they impressed so many people, including myself. Two new personal bests for a personal best overall of 223. Their short program is so good. Their free skate is Caruso, and it's so romantic. It's just not romantic. It's so tragic. It's so emotional. They bring, I feel like, the melodrama, the tragedy they're skating, and it's just really solid. Very nice on the basic skills. I feel like in the traditions of pair skating, but maintaining that very modern lifts and throws and everything. But they're such a solid team. And I'm gonna be, yeah, they definitely could win first here. They have placed above the other team I'm gonna talk about. Their scores haven't been as high this season, but we'll have to see. But in first place overall, I'm predicting the German team of Hase and Volodin, who have had just slightly higher scores overall than the Italians, and so that's why I'm putting them here. They have been a 221, which is their biggest score. They're 208, a 207, a 206, and then they were at 221 at the Grand Prix final with a first place free skate, which was such a monstrous free skate. It was like clean as it could be, and it was so good to watch. Um, yeah, again, they were fifth though in that short program at Grand Prix final. If they're able to avoid some of those big mistakes, popping the jumps, I remember they didn't pop, but they unfortunately couldn't complete their death spiral in the short program in Finland. Mistakes like that, we'll have to see where those things play out. But if they're able to skate clean, again, really good for them. So any of those top three teams, the Georgians, the Italians, the Germans, if they skate clean, I think, and I mean like amazingly clean, and maybe the other teams make some mistakes. I think that's how it will work out. But third, Metsukina Varulava. Second, Kontimachi. First, Hase Volodin. Lastly, ice stands. I just have a weird feeling, and I mean this in a bad way, honestly. I have a feeling that this ice dance is going to be insane. There's so many teams here, and there's so much judgment and subjectivity in ice dance. It's a lot of pressure on these teams to do the best they can before the Olympics. A lot of these teams are the best in the world, and this is crazy to me how packed I feel like this ice dance field is. My wild card is the Finnish team of Turkila and Versluis, who have not competed all season because of injury, but they are coming back. They just came back at Finnish Nationals, and they won there. They did pretty well there. That was, a domestic event in Finland. They have not competed internationally this season, and so I'm excited to see them skate internationally. But they were fourth here last year at Europeans. They were sixth the year before. They've been third, and so they carry a lot of Europeans repertoire, let's say, in their skating, a lot of European success in their skating, and we'll be happy and excited to see more of that here as they skate in their international comeback. So they're my wild card. In eighth place, my prediction is the Georgians, the Georgian team of Davis and Smolkin, who have been mainly in the 196 season. They've been a 193, a 203, a 194, and then they were a 184. And that 184, yeah, just not high levels. And that is really the main thing, I think, is their levels on their elements have not been marked as high as some of the other teams, and so really in the base value, oops, I did not mean to click on that. In their base value, that is the main thing. But they're a solid team. They've been as high as eighth here at Europeans, and I'm sure they're wanting to improve on their result, but I am predicting their eighth place here as well. Okay, the seventh place team, I'm predicting the Czech team, a Tashlerova and Tashler, who are a really solid team as well, sibling duo, who they were fourth at an NHK trophy, and then unfortunate eighth place in Finland because of a mistake on their one step sequence. Um, but otherwise, a really solid team, a team that is very high energetic in their rhythm dance. They just scored a new personal best in the rhythm dance at the Talent Trophy in November, and a good free dance as well would really help them and move their name up. Here at Europeans, they were 10th last year, but they've been 6th. They've been 7th place before as well, and so we'll have to see where everything plays out for them. In sixth place, I'm predicting the Spanish team of Smart and Deke, who have had a really good season last season with a fifth at Europeans, and then they went to sixth place at Worlds, which is completely unexpected with so much energy in their Dune free skate. They are, of course, back with Dune here. They were fourth at both of their Grand Prix events. Their personal best this season is two personal bests of the same score at two competitions. That's interesting. A 192.67 as well. Yeah, so in that 190 range is really where they have been placing this season, and so I really do think they probably are definitely in the top 6 here for them. In the 5th place, I'm predicting, and this, definitely might change, the team of Loporeva and Brissot of France, who have had slightly more inconsistent scores this season. They were a 183, 196, 192, and a 202, but a very eccentric team. The judges appreciate the uniqueness of their programs. Their levels have, been marked lower. I feel like at Skate America they were marked lower. Yeah, they were marked lower. But if they're able to get some good levels in and everything, they very much could qualify. Not qualify. What am I trying to say? Could do really well here at Europeans. They were second here last year, which is a really great result for them. Okay. Okay, let's see. In fourth place, I'm predicting the team of Reed and Amblivicius from Lithuania, who have had a roaring season. They qualified for an Olympic spot for Lithuania after missing out last season, and then they were third at France. They were second in Canada. They ended up qualifying to their first ever Grand Prix final, which was a very big surprise, I think, for a lot of ice dance fans. A very, very big achievement for the Lithuanian ice dance team. Their scores have really been close, either in the late 190s to the 200s this season, and I think that's really a very big sweet spot for them. They very much could, I believe, reach the European podium. They were on the European podium 2 seasons ago in Kaunas in Lithuania with a bronze there in 2024. They were sixth here last year, but this season their scores have been, a lot, and I mean a lot higher than they were in previous seasons. So really building up to that, they have become better skaters. The judges really appreciate their programs, and so we'll have to see where that goes as well. Okay, moving on to the podium. This might be a bit of like wishful thinking, and that is the third place here of Guignard and Fabry from Italy. It was an unfortunate season for them. The judges, I think a lot of people just thought the judges dropped them. They're just like, no, we're not doing, no more. And I think a lot of people thought their packaging was the issue. I definitely do, I think, agree with that after last season's robot program was just, a lot of people just lost faith in that robot program. But they have really good programs this season, so I really believe in them. They were fourth in France, which was a really shocking result, I think, for a lot of people. And they were second back in Japan, so really good there. They were first at Golden Spin with a 204. So that big 204, their scores have gone more up this season. And so, I think they'll be third here at Europeans. We will definitely have to see. Oh, we will definitely have to see. But yeah, that's what I'm predicting for them. Yeah, really important for them to build up towards the Olympics as well, too. Okay, in second place, I'm predicting the British team here of Fear and Gibson. They are competing at home, and I think that is going to be a very big, exciting thing for a lot of British fans in the audience. This season, their scores have been really solid. They were a 210 in France, where they placed second, 205 in Japan, where they were first. They went to Grand Prix final and they placed third there, even over Gillis and Poirier of Canada, who are a really accomplished team as well. And so, if there is a season where, and they did, let me see, they were third here last year and they were second the 2 years before that. And so, looking for that gold here, it would be a perfect moment to have their gold medal moment at Europeans at home in Sheffield in England. And so, that would be very exciting to see. Um, they have a really good, solid technical base. They have very fun programs. The audience loves them. The energy will so be there. It will come down to levels, I think, in GOE. But I think the energy performance out of it will be very excellent for Fear and Gibson. In first place, I'm predicting the team of Fournier, Baudry, and Cizeron, who have just had a bigger and better season than the other European teams here despite some early mistakes, some, and I mean some mistakes in the rhythm dances or the free dances. A fall at Grand Prix final in the free dance was quite shocking to see. Um, they have just had higher scores than the rest of the teams, and I think that is really what's setting them apart here. Just the math is working out that way. Yeah, just the math. Yeah. Yeah, I think they'll win here. Yeah, I think they'll win because their numbers have just been higher, and that's kind of just the truth of things. Like, yeah, have their lifts been a little too long, and they have gone deductions for the lifts, but otherwise their scores have just been super duper high this season, and I don't see any reason why their scores wouldn't be as high here. If you put their two personal bests together, it's like a 220, and that's absolutely crazy, right? And yeah, I think they'll win here. Yeah. But yeah, third here at Europeans, Guignard Fabry, second Fury Gibson, first Foni Bodri Cizeron. Those are my predictions. I know that was a lot of talking from my side. Next week, I will be reviewing U.S. Nationals. I'll be watching U.S. Nationals later, finishing up. Actually, no, I'm finishing up tomorrow with the men and the ice dance. But I'll be reviewing U.S. Nationals next week. I might do a small, and I mean a small preview of Fort Continents. Unfortunately, I can't fit in a full Fort Continents preview here, unfortunately. But then I will review Europeans the week after that. So if you're looking for the review of Europeans, wait 2 weeks. But if you're looking for the review of US Nationals, you only gotta wait 1 week. But yeah, I hope you guys all have an amazing week, and I will hear from you guys next week. And thank you so much for listening to this episode of a Team Toss Game podcast. My name is Van Gogh. I hope you enjoyed listening to me talk for 50 minutes about Europeans and why Europe has the craziest continental competition ever. And yeah, see you next week for a review of US Nationals. And bye bye.